How you doing there?
Ooh, I'm chilling, man. On the Sabbath right here, worshiping, churching. Amen. Bless.
I hear you. And we have a special guest today, Mr. Earthquake. How are you?
Pretty good. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Earthquake has been moving and shaking and getting stuff done. He been working and working hard over this past year since I've been following him kind of closely. But for the people who don't know you, give them a little background. Tell them where you're from and how that influenced how you make your music.
Well, born in Temple, Texas. I live in Waco, Texas right now. And basically, I don't really look at myself as a local artist because I don't have a sound like my region. I don't sound like where I'm from because I get influences from everywhere. So I don't really have one thing that really kind of influences my sound. Kind of just comes from all different directions. So,
Tell us about Temple. Like, what's Temple like versus what Waco's like? Like, what are the differences and similarities of those two towns?
well, Waco is getting to be a bigger city. It's still a smaller city, but Temple's a lot smaller in scale. But Waco's has more, I guess, businesses and more people coming from out of place to move around. You know how it goes.
Did either of them have like a hip hop scene?
Yeah, yeah, Waco does, but like I mean, they don't really have an identity. If you ask me, like I'm in the scene, but I'm not in the scene. Like I wasn't really included in the scene, so I don't move in those same circles. So I couldn't really tell you
Oh yeah.
exactly, but they do
Oh,
have a
Waco
Yeah,
scene.
is.
Texas is kind of Yeah, Texas is kind of territorial like that.
Oh yeah,
The South Side is don't fool with the West Side, and the West Side don't fool with the East Side, and it's just a whole lot of nonsense,
yeah.
which
You got to
Dallas,
be.
North
probably
Side,
makes
then
it
it's the
real.
South Side.
Sorry, go ahead.
It probably makes it real hard to get a following in your town.
Yeah, because from what I can tell, you have to pretty much already be clicked up with these people to get any kind of
Yeah,
support. If you're not already in their little friend circle, they're not really going to fuck with you. And I've noticed that. But it's how it
yeah.
goes.
It's a problem here.
Yeah.
It's a problem here because especially when you have artists that come from different cities, and then you got to get permission to go in this area, and you got to get permission to go in this area. It's just a lot of nonsense to me.
Yeah, it is.
So do you remember the moment that you fell in love with hip hop, and
Yeah, I would.
what song,
What song was it?
and what song in particular?
I think the first song I ever heard hip hop song was "Message" by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. I was like 8 years old because my mom had it on the vinyl, and I just happened to hear that. And I heard "Raising Hell" by Run DMC. That album was one of the first hip hop
Uh-huh.
albums I ever heard. So that kind of was my introduction to it. I was like, okay, it was something different to me because I didn't grow up really raised around hip hop, but that's what I gravitated to.
Uh-huh.
So just kind of stuck with me. So that's probably the turning point right there.
What kind of music was played in your house?
A lot of country music, a lot of classic rock, kind of like the oldies, I guess they call them now. But
Mhm.
my mom, I grew up with Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, and I had a little bit of everything mixed in there. So I feel like I had a good starting point.
Yeah, I think Texas um Texas has a good is norm we are normally well versed in different genres just because it's such a military state that we have so many people coming in and out from different areas that we get a little bit of everything from everywhere.
Mm,
Has that
definitely.
been your experience?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Especially in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, San Antonio is
In
live too.
San Antonio, we have, you had, say what?
I was just saying San Antonio has always been like a great music city anyway, culture. But yeah,
Well, it depends on which culture.
true.
It wasn't a lot of hip hop going on in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
kind of had to go to Dallas and Houston in order to get, the hip hop part. But we
Oh
did
yeah,
get a lot of country and soft rock and hard rock and jazz. Big jazz city.
Is South by Southwest in
Zydeco.
Austin?
is it where?
Is South by Southwest in Austin, Texas?
Yeah, Austin. Yeah,
Okay.
I performed there a few times over the years.
So that changed now. So now it does have maybe not a hip hop scene, but it has a major hip hop event now. Once a year.
Oh yeah,
Okay. But maybe not a scene.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's Austin. Austin is a college town, and it's the capital. So there's that.
Austin's a
So
really
how
big
did you
city.
come?
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm about to learn something now. Austin is the capital of Texas?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, man, I have to forget
Yeah.
about it. I gotta get left back now. Forget about it. I'm thinking Dallas or Houston. Austin is the capital of Texas.
Austin's really big into music all the way. So it's like it's the live music capital of the world. Like live, as far as live shows, it's the
Man,
live.
they talk about Americans are geographically challenged. Shit. I did not know that Austin was the capital of this is new. And my roommate in college was from Houston. Shame on me. Aaron, you never taught me. Shame on you. All right. In the American public school system. Respectfully.
So how did you come up with your name as an MC? Does it have any special meaning or significance to you?
It does now, but when I first came up with it, I didn't really know where I was going with it. It just something that kind of just sounded cool, so I ran with it. But now I look at it as I'm an earthquake, and I'm disrupting the foundation because I'm so different than everything else. I just feel like it's going to disrupt everyone else already is used to. So that's kind of what I do with it now.
Cool.
And you never know when earthquakes are going to happen, aftershocks and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of like you never know.
So you named yourself and then you built on that name.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. But for someone who's not familiar with your music, how would you describe your sound?
That's a good question. I would I don't know, reality rap, because what you see is what you get. Like I never came out here on a record talking about being a gangster, being a thug, none of that. It's just me. So it's like, and there's different levels of my thought process, and you get creative with the metaphors and shit too, so you can always go different ways with it. But it's always still me every time. So
yeah. So being from Texas, I know that Texas sound. I've been living it for a whole lot of years. But you don't necessarily have a sound that sounds like you're a part of Texas. I know you said that you have different influences from everywhere. I know you have on your Cobb hat, and you're a big fan of Crooks, but even Crooks, does you have a distinct leaning toward Detroit sound? Why is that?
I don't know. I guess it's just a subconscious influence. I would have never guessed Detroit. That wouldn't be my first guess, but I can see that now that you mentioned it. So I guess it's just a subconscious thing. Eminem was a real integral part and me wanting to rap and learning how to rap and thinking I could actually do it. So maybe there's some kind of subconscious thing with that. But because I pick up little
Yeah.
things from reading too, so it's just different. I like that
So
though.
what do you say to people who what do you say to people who thinks that artists should sound like their geographic location that they come from?
I mean, I see why people say that. I just don't agree because I feel like as an artist, you should be able to express yourself any way you see fit. That's the whole point of being an artist. So it's just, it's only certain things you can really do with it if you're boxed into a certain sound. Only certain things you can do, certain places you can go. But if you broaden it and just don't have any limits, no boundaries, I guess you can go anywhere with it and be like a chameleon, fit in any environment. Just go.
So I'm going to change my assessment because I kind of feel like it depends on the beat on how you sound. Because Diz and LY, because Diz produced this EP, I think you kind of picked up on his flavor just a little bit. Not that it disguised your own, you know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
beats that he makes and the sounds that he makes leans Detroit because that's where he's from. And I think you found a way to make your flow fit in with his style instead of the other way around.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
I can
you
see
were
that.
off you you
You
you
don't have to
were
agree
rapping
if you don't agree.
slow. You were rapping slow and pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
Normally you kind of fast and you have that rapid flow, which you did on the last single. But I noticed that you kind of slowed it down this time.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I have been working on that too. Just over the years, I've been working on enunciating better and trying to get. I already know I have an accent. I have a little bit of a slur sometimes when I try to speak too fast. So I try to go smoothly enough where everybody can hear it, pick up on what I'm saying. So it's like I've been doing that, working on that over the years anyway. So
It was really well done with this album.
I appreciate
It
that.
was really well done. I was so caught up into this EP.
Boom.
I loved your homage to Eminem. How did that come about?
Oh, with the Demon song? Yeah, that was just the idea I
Yeah.
had. And I knew Diz was known for flipping all these samples when he did the weekly series with Crook in 2019. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I just asked him to do a couple for me, and there's like the message one with the Nas sample, and then the Eminem sample. I kind of wanted him to try some different things, and it just worked out.
Well, I like what you did with that beat.
Oh, thank you.
I
Yeah,
really
that
did.
Demons was a conceptual song, but I'm sure you got it anyway. But
Yeah.
SP, that's
sure.
also because you're an Eminem fan.
I am not a stan. I'm a fan.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yeah,
That's what I said.
there's a difference. Yeah. There's
My joint
A
is
big difference.
survival. My joint is survival on there, man. I love that song, and I like the songs with the two. I guess you said one of them was the producer. That song too. Them two joints are fire. Those are my two favorites on it.
Yeah, I had Diz rapping on Still Grinding. Had to get him on there too. Because Diz and LY are a group. They're a duo together, and they're on their own right. So I just like, all right, it makes sense. So
very catchy.
Yeah, how did you make that happen? Because I love Diz and LY. I've been listening to them for a while, and I think they're so underrated. Especially with the magnificence of Diz's production. Diz production is fire.
Diz is a monster. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he has skills on top of that. So he's a double threat. And then the
Exactly.
way him and LY kind of flow off of each other makes him a triple threat.
Yeah, Diz is a beast. Yeah.
But I like neither of them overpowered you. You held your own. I love that.
Yeah, I had to come. I knew I had to come with it because that's the whole point of the EP was to showcase. Like my back was against the wall. It's kind of the whole attitude of the EP.
Yeah.
So I had to come out swinging, because the first song, "Bad Guy," kind of sums it all up. Like I've been humble and been nice for so long, everybody just kind of takes my kindness for weakness. So it's like, all right, now I got to show y'all. Start, stick my chest out a little bit. And I'm gonna start talking my shit. So that's kind of where I was going. The EP was real important in that aspect. I got to just talk my shit, really show them what I can do.
Yeah, what I've always liked about you, which is why I always supported you, I like you first as just a human being. I love the way you moved. I love the way you big up people and you supported people. So yeah, when I first gravitated to you, it was because of who you were. And then I found out you actually made music.
Oh yeah, well that's always good. Yeah.
So I think when you say people take your kindness for weakness at times, I can see that because you are a very good man. You're a very good person. At least that's what I see from you. And so I can see that sometimes people would probably try to take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's happened a little too often. That's why I was kind of like, all right, now I got to start being a little more assertive, So what the EP kind of was.
Yeah, it was. What is the message? What's the message you really want people to take away, or your listeners and your fans? What do you want them to take away from you as an artist?
Basically, that I just really love the culture. I love hip hop. It gives a voice to people who don't have a voice, who wouldn't have one otherwise. Put it that way. And I just want people to understand that I'm authentic with mine. That's basically what I want people. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I want everybody to know that I'm just 100% legit. Like what you see is what you're gonna get. It's not gonna be some act or gimmick or anything like that.
Do you think so? Tell us, just kind of tell everybody about your latest project, how you came up with the concepts and titles and the album work, the album artwork.
Oh yeah, well, my last album kind of stems from that. That was called "Against All Odds," and that was basically, in my opinion, the underdog story. It's kind of how I framed that album. I was talking about everything in my life up to that point, and it's really funny because when that album came out in 2020, right before the pandemic started, now it's more relevant than it was then in my life as far as everything I've been through. So it still stands strong in that aspect. But the EP, Underdog Music, is basically, like I said, the continuation of that, where I kind of got the personal stuff out of the way, and that's out there for people to listen to too. Now I want to kind of show y'all what I can do because people always want to underestimate. So it's just, I don't know, it's a revenge thing. I'm trying to get even with everybody who said I couldn't do this shit, basically.
What did you say? You said, what does this album title mean? Like, and what's the message you want people to get from this particular album? So the title, Underdogs, and the message in this album.
Yeah, that's basically what I wanted them to get. Underdog music. Like, I'm trying to like show that I can hang and hold my own with some of the best. Like I've done that before. And I just want people to start recognizing the work I put in. And that's what the EP is based around. So you're going to stop sleeping on me. You're going to stop overlooking me just because I may not look like you expect me to look. Because I always surprise people. Every time they hear my music, they're always surprised at because it's me. They're always surprised that it's me that they're here. It's like, yeah, that's me. Like, I don't look the part, I guess, but I like that part though. It always catches them off guard.
How did you pick the producers, artists, and other collaborations for this particular project?
Oh yeah, this one was all the EP was fully produced by my brother Big. So that was this all I wanted all one cohesive vibe, and I knew me and him would work well together in the past, so it just made sense to lock in on the project together and just go all out.
Okay. No, that's what's up. And then how did you decide like which MCs to put on this project? Like putting them on it. What made you decide to put them on it? I know you were already working with them, but just them alone. Like what made you kind of say, all right, let's go with this?
Yeah, because it was only 4 tracks, and I didn't want to overdo the features. It's mostly about me anyway. So, and that song is the only one that made sense to have features on it, but still grinding. So I was like, all right, I can just get Dez and LY to spit on this, and it just made sense, and it worked. So it's like, and people love that song.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the fighting in it, like the fight in it. I have to survive. I have to make
That's
it. Finding like
exactly what it is.
like you
That's the
said,
vibe. I do this shit. Like it's the hunger, because this is really all I know how to do is rap. So it's definitely
do or
that hunger.
die, do or die.
So
Were you able to work in the studio with these guys, or was this through emails, wave files being sent virtually? Like how did this?
yeah, this was all through emails and sending files back and forth, but it all worked out. Just haven't met them in person yet, but never know.
When it comes to being an artist, which way do you prefer to work, or which way do you think works better, in your opinion, for the process? In person or files?
I think if you can work in person with somebody, that's always the best way to do it, because you actually vibe together and get on the same page and make sure you're all on the same wavelength. Because sending it back and forth, it works, but it may not be as good as it could be if y'all were in the same place. That makes sense.
It does. So, if you had a dream collaboration with an MC or producer, um, who would it be and why?
It's a really good question. I have a lot of those. I have a long list of people I want to collaborate. But as far as a dream collaboration, be me, Crooked, Eminem, Black Thought, probably Royce. I don't know. I got a long list of people I want to work with. I can't really. It's hard to scale it down.
And producers wise?
Producers, oh man, Primo, Pete Rock, Ninth Wonders. Ninth Wonders one of them I really want to work with. Ninth Wonders dope. Who else? Anybody, man. I always wanted a Manny Fresh beat. Always, since I was younger, I always wanted to rap on a Manny Fresh beat. I don't know why. He always made some dope ass beats, but he's not doing as much these days.
I love that you mentioned Manny Fresh. I think
Yeah,
a lot of people blow Manny Fresh off, you know,
yeah. For some reason,
and his beats are fire. I don't care what nobody say.
yeah, his beats were the backbone of Cash Money for all those years, man.
You hear that hip hop Twitter? Come correct.
he, he was producing those full albums for everybody on Cash Money. So it was like he was the soundscape.
Put some respect on my name.
Exactly. Put some respect on Manny Fresh's name. Man deserves his flowers. He didn't get a good versus battle, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Wait, I don't even remember. Wait, who did he verse again?
It was Manny Fresh and Scott Storch. It was like when they first started doing it.
Holy shit. Yo, okay,
It wasn't a good
strike now. I don't know what planet I've been on.
Yeah, but I think the reason I think people were swayed towards Scott Storch, not only because he had some of the most iconic beats that were ever created, just keeping it a buck, but just in hip hop, he had some of the most iconic sounds ever.
To my hits.
But
I mean, yeah, he had bangers.
yeah, but Manny Fresh wasn't very nice to him either. So I think that swayed a lot of people, even though Manny had some bangers. I just don't see how it would
gonna work in his favor.
Yeah, gonna work in his favor.
And then what? You think that made Scott Storch dig deeper and like really put a foot in his yeah?
Yeah, because you got to look at what Scott Storch did across genres.
That's true. Scott Source, yeah.
You know
That
what's
dude for 3
interesting?
years. too.
Earthquake. You know who I'm thinking of, and I don't know why this just came to mind. I would like to hear you on a Static Selector beat, for real.
Static Selector. Oh no, I have a Static Selector song on my last album.
Shame on me.
Actually,
Right
yeah.
here,
On
I'm
my
out.
last album, I have a song produced by Static Selector. Yeah,
What?
it's
What's
called
the
New Era.
song? Oh man, shame on me. Sorry,
It's called
man.
New Era. It's on my Against All Odds album. Yes, I forgot about that. How did I forget about that? But yeah,
Yo, salute to Static Selector. That's a dream. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. I think I was thinking of him because I'm thinking like Currency, Bun B, people that he's worked with, and I'm like, yeah.
you work from the Southern artists a lot. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, you moving big time, Earthquake. Excuse
I
me.
might have another Static Selector beat in the stash somewhere, but we'll
Look at
see.
that SP. You hear that? Got another one on the SP. Another
We'll
one.
see.
Said like DJ Cat. Another one.
Another one.
Smart. Smart.
So, what's your current what is your favorite song from your catalogs thus far that you've
Oh,
made?
it's always a hard question for anybody. But shit. One that comes to mind is Usual Suspects. Me and Horseshoe Gang.
Yeah.
Why?
Only because that song is so it's just the way it came together. It was just me and all my boys just going off, and it was like it just worked.
Horseshoe Gang is just
Shoe Gang is
you can't listen to one of their songs without just having a stink face.
I ain't never heard you make a noise like that on this show, so I know they good.
no, Shoe Gang is
Horseshoe Gang is lyrically one of the best groups next to Slaughterhouse that I have ever heard.
Boom.
Yeah, and I think Slaughterhouse is the best lyrical group ever assembled. As far as just
But I
lyrics.
think Horseshoe Gang is kicking them in the ass right now.
Yeah, because Slaughterhouse was banned anyway, so yeah. Shoe Gang got the torch.
and they all brothers. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's just like a whole family full of spitters. I know they arguments are fire.
Yeah, they debate about everything. They debate about everything. Everything.
Can you imagine them like Wu-Tang, like how Wu-Tang said on the second album they worked together, like cats in each other's face, like that verse is whack. You need to rewrite that. You need to come up. Can you imagine like the competition with these guys?
Oh yeah, I've seen that shit.
Crazy.
Especially with Crooked on the outskirts. I just can't imagine.
That's the thing. That's the pressure that we deal with. You see, we deal with that pressure because it's like we know who's there in the background to see what we do. So it's like he's always watching.
Yeah.
So it's always good pressure in a way to like make sure you bring your A game every time.
Because as nice as Cricket is, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a problem telling you maybe you shouldn't do that. He's gonna do it in a nice way, but he's probably gonna tell you, "Now you don't want to do that right there."
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna change your approach a little bit. Yeah. He'll definitely tell you that. But he's respectful. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Who's your favorite collab so far?
Favorite collab that I've done is probably a COB collab somewhere. Either Usual Suspects or Too Untouchable with Crooked and 3D Not T. That's a big one.
3D Not T.
That's a big one. I got her and Crook on the song.
You just say 3D Not T and then you just, want to bust it.
She will be on this on the
Bust a
show.
little move.
You know her?
We're going to have her on the show, SP. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, you
in the
three
affirmative.
with the quickness, because that's a level of dope that you just don't understand.
Yeah, that song it's called Two Untouchables, the part two. So the first song I ever did with Cookie called Untouchables. I did that song. We did that song in 2011, the first way back in the day. And I made a sequel and I put 3D and IT on it. And yeah, we just matched it up.
3D Not T is just
And
fire and
Diz make that beat
so
too.
underrated.
Oh yeah, so underrated. And she's like bossing up on every level. She's not just an artist. She does like all kinds of shit, entrepreneurial shit.
She's smart. She's
She's very,
smart.
yeah.
She's talented. I mean, I love her so much. So
Oh yeah.
I got to go back and listen to that because I did not know you had a song with 3D Not T. Oh man,
Boom. Can
I
you name some of the stuff? Oh, sorry. Right.
no, go ahead.
I was
Now,
gonna
Yeah,
say, can you name some of the business she's in? Because Powerful Impact, we try to like influence people, whatever. If they're legal, if they straight, if whatever's
oh
whatever.
no, yeah. She just opened
I
up her
just
own
want you to like
studio.
name whatever.
She opened
Can
up her
you?
own fully functional studio. Like you go there and record and do videos, and podcasts or whatever in her own. She has her own studio people can go to now.
A production studio overall, not just music, like a
Yeah,
production
and
studio.
she owns like properties and like flips houses and shit. Like she's all over the place. Like
Oh, she's not an entrepreneur. She ain't a business entrepreneur. She's an entrepreneur.
yeah,
You gotta
she's
say
doing,
with distinct.
doing
Entrepreneur.
yeah,
Wow. Multiple streams of
yeah,
income. Yeah, we definitely
oh
gonna
yeah,
have to have her on the show, SP.
yes.
All right, that's what's up. Where is she? She's from Texas or somewhere
She's
else?
from New Orleans. New Orleans.
New Orleans. All right.
We'll definitely get her on the show.
yeah, she's so dope,
We gotta
so
ask her.
dope.
We need your help. We need your help. Earthquake. Help us out.
Hit her up, see what's up.
So you were with COB.
Yes.
Um, for those people who aren't familiar with it, can you tell them exactly what those letters mean? And can you explain kind of what the movement is and how you would describe COB?
So COB basically it stands for Circle of Bosses, and it's basically a collective of like-minded individuals who are all kind of going after the same goal. We're all kind of chasing the same thing. So it's all about being our own bosses and also helping each other at the same time. So it's just like-minded people. I get along with everybody pretty well, so it's always been a natural thing.
And what's like your role in it? And what does it mean to you personally? Like, how did you join it?
I'm just glad to be a part of it because I owe Shoe Gang for that. They opened the door for me. They put me on one of their mixtapes a long time ago, and that's kind of how it started. But basically, I just feel like I'm just trying to do my part and push the culture forward. Like it all comes down to being about hip hop culture at the end of the day. So we're trying to just keep pushing and keep promoting the type of music we want to hear and we want people to know about. So it's just keeping the fight going, basically.
What's your role in COB?
Well, I have COB South branch that I'm able to build off of if I so choose to. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I have that brand. I have permission to do it. I have my own logo with the Texas in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I got all that.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm kind of like my own branch of COB now. If I wanted to take it that far and do a whole label, I probably could. I just don't
And
have enough.
that means like you should like be not should be, but you would be looking for local talent, or it doesn't matter where they're from, or would it be like Texas is what I'm trying to
No,
establish?
not necessarily have to be Texas. It could be really anything. But I mean, preferably a South artist, but it doesn't have to be a South artist, really. But I guess that would make most sense. But I haven't really thought that much about other artists just yet because I'm still trying to figure my own shit out. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fuck up anybody else's shit because I don't have my shit together yet. I don't want to,
Yeah, you still working on you.
Yeah, I want to focus on me right now. I don't want to mess anybody else up. I'm still focusing on me.
That's commendable. as commendable. Not many people would take that to account, especially when they have all of this backing already. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that um, quite a few people would throw a couple of people under the bus and step on them to get.
yeah, yeah. I don't.
And
That's not the way to do it. Yeah, you know,
yeah, that's why I like you.
I've always been the one that got thrown under the bus. I've always been the one that got stepped on. That was always me. So it's like
Yeah.
I know how to feel. So I'm not gonna do that to somebody else.
Um. So how did you hook up with the crew? And yeah, how did you hook up with them?
Yeah, it was really an organic, natural thing. Like there wasn't really any thought process behind it. It kind of happened over time because what happened was I wasn't really getting anywhere locally. I pretty much have been blackballed. I'm gonna just say it like that. I pretty much have been blackballed in my city, Waco. They don't really fuck with me. They know who I am. They know my music. They don't nothing. They don't support anything I drop. It's all good. Whatever. Water under the bridge. Anyway, but basically, I met Crook and Shoot Gang at South by Southwest in 2013 when I first time I met all of
Mm-hmm.
them, and we just kind of started working together on tracks over more and more, and it just kind of naturally formed into what it is. And 2014, Shoe Gang was doing a mixtape series, mixtape monthly. They dropped a mixtape a month for a whole year, and I
Mm-hmm.
was on volume 9 that series, and that kind of was the catalyst of what started me being affiliated with COP, and it kind of just built from there.
So how did you form a relationship with Crooked Eye in particular, and how did you get that cosign for him as an artist? Well, and as a person.
Yeah, well, that was through Shoe Gang because first when I knew Shoe Gang first, and they kind of brought me to the fold. And then Crooked was on my very first album before I even knew them in 2012. He was on a song called Untouchable way back. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I got that verse right after the Shady deal got signed, the Slaughterhouse Shady Records deal. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
they told me that we had to get it done right then. So I was like, all right, I was kind of pressed for time. So I just sent just the beat by itself. And then we had the song done. And then that kind of was the beginning of it. And then I met him later, got to thank him for it. And it just kind of over time. And I just went out to Cali a few times and then just kind of organically happened. And then Crook is like one of my closest friends now, more or less.
So how would you describe him as a friend and as an artist?
As a friend, I think he's one of the best resources you can have. Not resources, but best people that you could know in a business like this, because it's good to have somebody who knows the ins and outs, who's not gonna just leave you high and dry and leave you hanging. He's gonna kind of give you direction because he's
Mm-hmm.
been there before. And as an artist, I feel like he's criminally underrated. And I feel like
Criminally.
the death row thing, it might have left sort of a black cloud over his head. That's why people don't really want to rate him as high as he should be. And he's not really like he's respected, but I feel like he should be respected a lot more. He could be more out there. But I
Yeah,
feel like the death row thing might have had something to do with that.
yeah, Crook's verses are he put the way he formulates a verse is really awe-inspiring sometimes.
Yeah.
I listen to him and I'm like, what did he just say? And then I have to rewind it back. And it was like, no, that means something else. And then I'm pulling out my thesaurus. What is he getting at right here?
Yeah, and if you actually saw him in the studio, it would be more mind blowing because of how he does it. He doesn't write it. It's just
Hmm.
he just kind of like puts it together in his head as he goes, and just kind of comes together like that.
Wow.
It's crazy to watch. Like it's nuts.
Well, what's your personal and professional relationship with him since joining COB and getting his cosign?
Well, I mean, professionally, he's been on every one of my albums so far,
Hmm.
which is crazy to say that. He's always just been one of my favorites, and just to say he's on my albums is crazy. But no, he's just somebody I know I can call him if I need advice about something, or I can just or whatever, and just somebody who's really good to have in your circle. Like genuinely good guy. People might look at him a certain way, like he's too aggressive, but he just raps like that. Just talks his shit. He's not really that aggressive in real life, unless you piss him off. But that's another story. But yeah, he's cool. Like he's a real genuine guy. One of the most humble people you're ever gonna meet. Like they don't take.
That sounded like some firsthand experience.
I never pissed him off, but I've seen him pissed off. I mean, I've seen him pissed off, but it never was my fault. But yeah, so I've seen that much of it.
He's like, I seen him put in work.
I've seen it. Yeah, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that shit, but I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that shit though.
So, where you're at in your career, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the pros and cons of being co-signed by someone like Crooked Eye? And what's the added pressure? Does that what's the added pressure that adds in making your moves in music?
Well, I just feel like, COB is kind of like we're all kind of bosses of our own destiny. So we're not really under anybody, so to speak. So it's pressure knowing that he's always going to be like in the rafters, like watching, but at the same time, it's not bad pressure. It's just like, all right, I have an example to kind of go off of, and I can just kind of model what I'm doing off of what he already did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't really know about any cons as far as being affiliated with him because I haven't ran across any yet, honestly.
Does that black cloud that you say,
yeah,
that proverbial black cloud kind of catch some rain on you sometimes on the edges?
And the thing about that is we had a talk about that
Guilty
last time
association.
We talked about that black cloud thing last time I was out there with him. And he pretty much said me and him are more or less cut from the same cloth. We both had that. We both got more or less blackballed in our cities.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that's why me and him click so well. That's what he said. We all can't cut from the same cloth. So it's kind of that's yeah.
Do you feel like sometimes there's a little bit of jealousy that surrounds you sometimes because of your relationship with Crooked Eye, being that you're sort of a new artist, kind of undiscovered, but you can really tell that there is a love there, a real brotherly kind of thing with you and Crooked Eye. So
yeah.
do you sometimes wonder that if some of the people that that reach out to you are reaching out to you because of your skill or because they want to get closer to Crooked Eye?
I've seen both sides, both of those actually.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people that I wanted to work with before, like from my city, local artists that are actually buzzing a little bit. They never want to work with me, but they'll hit me up and ask me how much Crook charges for a verse. It's like, I don't know. I can't tell you that,
Uh-huh.
But they only hit me up to ask about him. It's like, all right, I see where this is going, But,
yeah.
And also, I did another interview with somebody, and this may not have been an angle, but I feel like he was kind of trying to use me to get to Crook. Maybe not. It may not have been what he was doing, but it kind of seemed like it. Mm-hmm. He just kept asking me about Crook over and over again. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And then he asked me if I could reach out to him and get him on his show or whatever. I'm like, I can try, but I mean, can't promise anything.
Yeah.
But I've seen a little bit of that. Yeah.
Is it troubling to you at times that or does it make it difficult to know who's genuine and who's not?
Yeah, sometimes it does. But a lot of the time, the writing's right there on the wall. You just got to look at it. Like it's all people show who they really are every day. You just got to be willing to see it.
Yeah, because I'm one of those who watch from the outskirts. I like tapping it up with Crooked, but I don't go into every thread just if he pops up on the timeline.
Yeah, you're not all over everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And I I often see, this kind of weirdness that goes along with that. And I've seen it with even Maria, she with the weird kind of people that latch on just because, she's in proximity.
Yeah.
Can that get not just annoying, because I know it can be annoying, but can it be scary at times not knowing?
Who all's trying to be down, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think about that too a lot as I'm starting to gain a little more popularity. I'm starting to realize I'm not gonna know who all these people are that listen to our music. It's just something you gotta take as it comes. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can see it definitely is annoying at times, but I don't know. Maybe I don't look into it that deeply. I don't know. But
The man is still grinding. He's like, I
still,
gotta do work. I have a question,
okay.
real quick about, because I don't know why this just popped in my, I think this actually popped in my head when I was putting things together. What's the definition of a boss to you?
Somebody who is self-contained, somebody who knows what they want to do, and is just working to make it happen. Basically.
And it's interesting because working with clients, I don't know, I don't say always, but I say even if you're working for people, you can still be your own boss, and it's how you govern yourself. But I use the
Yeah,
acronym BOSS, right? Breaking it down, and it stands for, if you want to become a boss, you have to be disciplined, and it stands first for like having good boundaries, having order, having
yeah,
structure in your life, and that equals success. That's what a boss is. Boundaries, order, structure to
I like
make your
that.
life
Yeah,
successful.
I like that.
That's what's up,
That's real.
yeah.
Yeah,
And when I keep hearing the circle of bosses, I'm like, huh, what does that mean? Because I like that you said it earlier. It's nobody under anybody in particular, but yet it's all of us moving as a collective, but
yeah,
yet
like we're all a
in our
unit, but
own.
kind of on the equal playing field. Like it's not.
Exactly, and everybody's respected equally. My
Yeah, I mean,
second
it's kind
part
of
of the
understood who's really in charge, but at the same time, they don't,
okay, and then like the second part that I would ask now, because the last, what do they say, lead the last S off for savings, but I put success was the last S, right? What's
yeah,
the definition of success for you? And do you feel you're successful, or crook, or the COB? You know what I mean? Success.
yeah.
What's that mean? Because
Success to
everybody's got
me,
different definitions for that.
yeah, success to me is basically just, well, like I was saying before, just being able to do what you want to do, what you love to do, whatever you're happy doing, not having anything holding you back. There's nothing restraining you and keeping you from being happy. It's just you, not necessarily financially, but financially helps a lot. You just want to do what you want to do, and I think success is just being able to have that freedom and just like just being on top, being on top of everything and having everything in line the way you see it fit. Basically.
I like that because many people are successful monetarily, but they're not happy or at peace or
Yeah, it's
healthy.
not always financially. It's not always the main thing, but it helps.
Health too. Health is wealth. You
Help.
ain't healthy, it don't matter what the heck you got. Or you can't sleep at night, you ain't got peace. I don't care how quote unquote
Real
worldly
help as well.
successful.
Real.
Yeah, and not watching over your back every minute. All right, let's
People
get
always want to think it's just about how much money you have. No, that's not. That's not the main focus at all.
exactly. It's a tool and it can help, but it ain't enough. You've seen this
Damn
over
good,
and
damn
over.
thing, but it's not going to buy you success.
Bingo. All right. So for someone who's not like familiar with you or your music, how would you describe your style and sound to the uninitiated? This is the first time they're watching you here. They're not familiar with you. How do you describe that to them?
I've been told I have an East Coast kind of sound to myself, which SP said Detroit, which that made me raise an eyebrow a little bit because that's interesting. But
I
yeah, I
didn't
was.
think that, but I think it's dope. But I didn't think Detroit. But all right, yeah, go.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Detroit either, but that was an interesting way to put it. But yeah, I just feel like because I wasn't really confined to just one regional sound, I think it helped me a lot. I can kind of get on any kind of beat, any style, and kind of do everything, which is important as an MC. I feel like you should be able to rap on any kind of beat, go any direction anybody wants to go. I just feel like it's important to be well rounded like that.
And be universal and versatile, nimble.
Yeah.
That's what's up. For someone who, you're from Texas, but don't have a Southern style necessarily. Why do you think that is? You're not defined by your region.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, I just listened to a little bit of everything my whole life, so it all kind of just subconsciously formed my style.
Do you think that you would ever sit down and go, all right, this album now is going to be that Southern? Like certain people, like they like, yeah, now I'm bringing it back to my roots on this one. Like, do you feel that will happen for you, or?
It's always possible. I don't want to rule it out. But I mean, here's a hot take. I'm gonna say it like this. And me being from Texas, I don't know how SB is gonna feel about this one, but I just feel like Texas artists, like I understand there's a culture to it. Like Houston has all the candy painted cars and the grills, and I get it. It's a whole lifestyle and culture.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Texas artists need to broaden their horizons as far as what they rap about. To me, because I just feel like we hit a ceiling. Texas artists kind of hit a ceiling when they just talk about
these mics already unmuted, so I don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think the more popular guys are it's just kind of like with any area or hip hop. The ones who are making the music, the dope music, are normally the ones in the background, and the ones that's making the popcorn music that you can just put on and drop your ass to. Those are the ones that get pushed to the forefront. But it's a lot of dope artists in Texas that aren't just about bling, syrup, and money.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think
more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to find them. And that's the same thing. I was at a crossroads with Texas hip hop myself, but I think they are trying to break that mold only because it is they are finding out that just being bling dope
talking about your rims and candy painted cars. It's like, all right, you can do that. But
we always gonna have some rims and candy painted cars. That don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think they're starting to add more substance into the music. Because Devin the Dude made a whole career out of just getting high.
That's true.
My Afro? Devin the Dude. Sorry, Devin the Dude. Yes.
Yeah, he made a whole career out of just getting high. So
rapping about weed all day. That's all he does,
I love Devin the Dude.
But Devin the Dude, yeah.
Yeah, but he has started dropping a little more knowledge in his music besides just I'm high.
I just feel like the niche artists, like the main ones that are getting shine, need to broaden it a little bit just to show that there's more to it than just that.
Yeah, I think most artists in hip hop that are getting the most shine need to show that there's more to it than that.
Are there any? I got a question. Are there any? Now I'm talking out of ignorance. Are there any quote unquote conscious hip hop artists that are from Texas now or have come out of Texas as far as rap groups? I know we got Erica, we got other whatever, but like hip hop wise.
When you look at Scarface.
Yeah, story. Yeah.
UGK was big on that back in the day. They talked about both sides of the dope game.
But anybody like revolutionary or whatever they would call
K Reno.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to, yeah.
Legendary.
Who else?
I'm trying to think if there's anybody who relocated, because there'd be people from other states and they don't claim it until they move to another, and you find out, when you used to read the source and stuff, you're like, wait,
Well,
DOC's from
DOC
Texas?
was one of them.
DOC,
Yeah.
yeah,
But would you
DOC.
say he was No.
No,
Yeah,
but I'm
maybe.
just
Well,
saying, I was talking about relocated and people
Yeah.
don't know he's from.
Well, wait, did he help write F the Police?
I don't know about that song, but I'm sure he helped with some of that NWA shit.
Okay, so in a way, kind of
Kinda
rebellious.
is,
His
yeah.
album wasn't. I love his album. It's classic.
Nobody does it better. Yeah.
But he never really was like a guy. Really, as far as I know, but maybe on NWA. Anyway, I went way off. I have two
Yeah.
questions to ask here. What would you say to critics or people that say an artist should sound like their geographic location they came from and not other regions, so to speak? What do you say for the critics or the?
I feel like that's limiting artists. You shouldn't have to just be put into a box. Like true artists will express themselves in every way they possibly can. I just feel like to put somebody in a box and you should only rap about this. You should only sound like this. Like it just doesn't. It kind of defeats the purpose of being an artist.
Because I know, like being from New York, A$AP Rocky, when he came out and it was from Harlem, it was like, huh?
It sounded like
A
a
lot of
celebrity.
backlash from that, yeah. And I loved it. I thought what he did on those mixtapes, I thought they were fire, and I thought the first official album, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but people clearly took that away from the
Yeah.
South, from the East, from the North, from the West. People took it away. Now we've probably gotten past that. What, damn near 10 years later, to a certain extent with him, but it was a big deal. It was a problem.
I don't know how the energy was in New York as far as A$AP Rocky goes. Because I know he had a different sound, and we down here were like, okay, he sounds like us. He sounds like he's trying to do the South shit. Because he would screw and chop his vocals and stuff. Yeah, I know. That's all Texas shit.
Yeah. 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 They
Do you think there is such a thing? My last question. Do you think there's such a thing as like biting or jacking another region sound?
Yeah, because honestly, Waco artists do that now. But I've already said too much. But
Who they biting from? Who they bite? Who? What town
well,
would you say they're biting
I think,
from? We already in here. Oh
if
wow!
you listen to the local artists, the ones on the radio, or whatever, to me it all sounds like they're trying to sound like Atlanta. They took Atlanta sound, like auto tune and trap beats, everything Atlanta does, like Migos, all that type of shit. Waco sounds like that. We don't have our own identity. Waco doesn't have its own identity as far as sound or style.
Yeah.
So it kind of like gets lost in the sauce because it sounds like everything else is out there. So, but I don't sound like anything around here, so that's why it's like, okay, maybe they don't fuck with me because of that. Maybe I don't fit into their format, what they want to push and promote. So I get it.
So I'm just going to shout out a couple of because I had some in the tuck that I was going to look over, some artists that I wanted to check from Texas, but Bobby Sessions.
He's from Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Dallas. He's a conscious artist.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I remember that now. He is conscious. He has too.
Say it again for the folks at home. I'm gonna check
Bobby Sessions.
Dope.
Bobby Sessions, yeah. He got a song with Royce, I think.
Yeah. And we got to talk about Lecrae.
Lecrae, yep. Christian artist.
I thought he was from Atlanta. See, he relocated to Atlanta because I think he's in Atlanta.
Houston. Yeah, he's from Houston.
But he's Texas original.
Yeah.
What city? What part?
Houston.
Get out of here. Wow.
He's from Houston. Yeah, I remember him way back in the day when I was in high school. I remember hearing about Lecrae. Yeah.
And I big up a lot of East Coast artists and West Coast artists, but I decided to delve into my own area. So I made a little list of the people I should check out. And these are just a few of them that was on my list. Pat Ron. Pat Ron is out of Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah, he has it's the album's Flow Came too. That's what they told me to look into.
I haven't heard of him.
Who else? I was gonna listen to uh um um what is their name? Um Mag Magna Carta.
That's
There's
an
a
artist.
group called that?
Huh?
That's a group or one person?
As a group.
That
Never heard of him.
That's a dope name, Magna Carta. That's a dope name.
And another one, he's a producer and an artist. His name is Kid Jones.
Kid Jones.
What city?
These are new guys.
What part of Texas?
Austin.
I need to look them up too.
Wow, Kid Jones. All right.
And another one that is called Red Prodigy.
I never heard of that man.
Yeah, all of these were new people that my nephew sent me out of Houston.
Oh, okay.
I had put it in a Samsung in a note to myself to listen to them, but I haven't had time because I've been having fun with you guys. So
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely going to take this, since Nev mentioned it. I definitely need to take the time to actually listen.
And people don't really remember the DJ Premier's from Houston also.
Yeah.
People they don't like to remember that part, but it's okay.
And it's funny how a guy from Houston created
The whole New York sound.
The whole New York sound.
Yeah, the whole New York soundscape. Yeah.
Who would that be, by the way?
Premier.
DJ Premier.
Primo.
Well, you know what? Guru and him did produce some conscious music, so indirectly, yes. Primo is a conscious producer. Yes. Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
So when it comes to you making music, right? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? The title, the concept, the beats? What comes first?
Usually just a beat. I just come up with a concept off of that, and usually the title might be the last thing I do because I usually base the title around whatever the hook is, and hooks are not really my strong suit. But
well, I bet to differ now, Earthquake. On this last EP, them hooks are solid. That's what really drew me into the songs, them beats, and then the hooks. And I'm like, yo, this dude ain't playing. I don't know if you picked up the book on hooks this time around or something, but you figured it out, brother. You figured it out.
I appreciate that. I'm always trying to improve every time I go out with something. Every time I drop a project, I'm trying to improve on the last one in some way. So
yeah,
that's a good
right. SP, what you think? I think them hooks drew me in. After the rhyme was done, I was like, whoa, okay, I see you.
Yeah, I didn't even care about the hooks once that tag comes on. My brother did make this. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fire.
Like still grinding was kind of self-explanatory because of the clip sample. I knew I don't want to do with that one. Yeah, and I just had to make it work.
Yeah. How do you pick the artist that's going to be on the album with you?
Yeah, I'm usually really selective about who I put on because you can't put just anybody on any song. It's not gonna work. It has to make sense. And usually I can hear, like if I listen to a beat and I can hear somebody on it, that's who I try to get. But obviously I'm not that well connected. I can't just get anybody. But I have a beat that I've been sitting on that I want to get Royce on. I just got to get it to him somehow. Royce knows who I am, but he don't know me like that. Royce knows who I am, but it's a matter of time. It's all a matter of time. But
you got to find the right inroad. I
mean, I already asked Crook about it, but we got to work it out.
Yeah, you know Cricket.
Royce ain't really rapping right now anyway, so yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
he's checking boxes. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, checking them boxes up. Yeah, checking them boxes.
Working at UPS, working at TW. What is it? National
Checking
Security. I'm checking them boxes, yo.
So you
that was fun.
mentioned you mentioned that you got blackballed.
In my dream. Yeah,
So how did that happen?
I hadn't worked with Black Thought yet. No.
No,
I
I said you mentioned that you got blackballed. Blackballed in your
Blackball. I'm
city.
sorry, Blackball. I'm sorry, I heard that wrong. Blackball. I
No,
don't really
Black
know.
Thought's on the next album. Black Thought's
I
coming
wish
on the
Black Thought
next
was on my
album on
album.
that
Anyway,
Static Selector beat.
I wish Black Thought was on my album. No,
He's gonna be on the Static Selector beat.
exactly. No, we're gonna manifest that shit. Anyway, I don't really know how I got blackballed. Honestly, like I have an idea of how it started because I had issues with this guy a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's one of the main people in this local scene that kind of make shit happen. So I can kind of see how that didn't, work in my favor.
So
But
he's like a gatekeeper, you mean? Like
yeah,
shows
he's one
or
of the
radio?
he puts on a lot of shows and brings a lot of bigger artists down, and yeah, he does stuff like that. So I can see how me and him having issues wouldn't really work in my favor. So I get it. But
That sounds like Ice Cube. Just the wrong fuck with.
I mean, yeah, but
No offense to Waco, but what big artist is making their way to Waco?
I mean, we just had Devin the Dude, but I mean, there's been a couple of them, but there's not really that many major artists coming out here. So you're right about that. But yeah,
Is it like a big club or big amphitheater or anything around there?
there's not really any venues, and that's another thing. There's no real venues around here that artists perform. So we got to go to like Dallas and Austin to get shows and shit.
Yeah. It used to be a problem in San Antonio too, because all we had was the municipal theater right downtown where they held all the high school graduations and so we really didn't have big places until they built the AT&T Center and the Astrodome, which is one of the ugliest buildings I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what the hell architect built that.
They had an inside deal or something. Somebody owed somebody something.
That
was
is
some
one
mob
of the
stuff.
If you ever get a chance to Google the Alamo Dome, it is one of the ugliest buildings I have ever.
I've seen that. I was down there.
Building.
I saw that building last time I was out there. I was down there last year for a couple shows in San Antonio.
It's a god awful, isn't it? It's an ugly building. It
just
you
can't make him say that because then he might
well,
not be
I can say it because I live here.
Yeah. Earthquake, no comment. You say plead the
fifth. Yeah, no comment. But I'm gonna tell you, it's a monstrosity.
I mean, SP can say that though because she's there. So
yeah, because I was
no comment.
I live on the east. I lived on the east side where they built it at, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not an
This is an eyesore. This is an eyesore. It's giving me a headache every time I go to SP."
But yeah, like the people they really bring to Waco is more just like they're known artists, but they're only known like in the South, basically. Yeah. Like they bring a lot of people from Houston out,
Yeah.
But nobody really major like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got blackballed, though. I think it had something to do with me and this guy we don't get along. We're not enemies or anything. It's not like on site or anything. We see each other. We're just not cool. So it might have something to do with it.
So, is there a way for you to get unblackballed if that's even a word?
At this point, I don't know.
Blacklisted.
Unblacklisted. Yeah. Take me off the blacklist.
Whiteballed and whitelisted and unblackballed and unblacklisted. What's that? What is that?
Let me get whitelisted real quick.
Yeah, I want to get whitelisted. Shit.
No, like honestly, that goes back. And this is what made me believe that I was blackballed in the first place. Because a long time ago, probably 10 years ago now, I had a single I was pushing for my first album. There was a thing on the radio they would let local artists send their songs in, and they would play 2 songs back to back during the day, and have people vote for the one they liked best. And every Sunday, they had a thing called Street Beats where they play only local artists, right? So whoever won all 3 days during the week got an interview on that local artist segment. And I won 1 week, and I never got interviewed.
Whoa.
Yeah, they kind of just shafted me on that. And I understand, like, the first time it happened, like the first week, it was like, all right, my bad, something came up. Next week I got you. And I just kept getting a runaround every time. I was like, all right, I see what's going on here. So that's where it started. That's when I started noticing they don't really fuck with me. Okay, I see, but
Did you
that
say,
sucks.
oh.
I mean,
that's so, he's like, that sucks.
Yeah, it's like, now I'm just like, all right. I was mad at the time,
Did you say anything, or like, did you kind of like add any, or is it
I did.
gasoline to the flame? Yeah, because I'm like, it just feels like there's more to this story, Earthquake. You just give me the rumblings. I want the earthquake.
There's definitely more to the story. But at this point, I'm not even worried about it. But back then, yeah, I wrote a diss track.
Okay, I was like, there's more to this story. There's gotta be more than this. He's like, kinda, but I don't know, but maybe. I just got a vibe, and I'm like, fucking, I'm not a detective, and I'm like, some pieces of fucking story are missing.
Yeah, there's definitely more to the story.
How we get from A to Z? Please explain this now, Earthquake, please. This is like confession. Let it out, Earthquake.
Yeah, there was a mixtape I did in 2013, and I pretty much just called him out on it, but like, not what beat was that?
And you name names too, like.
I think I did. It's been a long time ago.
No, you think you did name?
No,
names.
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what I said. It was a long time ago, but I remember. I almost didn't want to put it out only because I didn't want to deal with the other shit that came with it. But I knew what it was going to do.
Can we put this interview out now? Allegedly,
no, that's all good. That's all good. I have no qualms about it. Put it out.
It must have been a hell of a diss track to get you blackballed in the whole city.
I was blackballed
10
before
years
that.
later. Shit,
I was blackballed before that, but that was just me realizing it 10 years ago. Because I was just starting to get my feet wet. So I was still brand new. I was still brand new to the scene. So I didn't know what I was doing.
You like, I hear an explosion, then the tsunami comes, and you're like, wait, there might be a next wave coming. And that is Earthquake. You still fucking suffering from the aftershocks. And
exactly.
Like, yo, Nev, I'm not SPI. I don't really know what happened, but I heard a rumbling. Like, yo, you funny, Earthquake. I can't. No real talk. Like, the way you can flip this now and make some money. Do you think you could make like some t-shirts and your next album be called like White Listed and White Bold? Because I think that's a dope fucking idea, yo.
That's hilarious.
White Listed, yo. And White Bold. That's some shit. No, that means like, instead of being the underdog, I'm back on top. I'm fuck being black.
Yeah, and actually,
White Listed.
My verse on Still Grinding kind of spoke on the same thing. If you listen to it.
Yo, if you don't take that idea, we give you 12 months. Me and SP, we might be printing up shirts like that. We're gonna give you 12 months. If you don't move on it, White Bold and White Listed. Word.
White Listed. Yeah.
Word.
I'm with it.
I'm back.
Yeah, but I even spoke on it on Still Grinding because that's kind of the point of that song. I've been grinding all this time, and y'all don't want to acknowledge it. It's kind of where I was doing.
Oh, so this ain't over. This shit is on. Well cooked.
It's not over.
This shit is sizzling.
No, it's not really over, but at the same time, I'm not really worried about it at this point. I just wanted to make it.
Still dropping it on my newer EP. I love it. Yo, this is shit. We ain't got beef.
Fella, you got 24 hours to respond.
Yeah, right? We ain't got beef. It ain't on site, but I'm still talking about you on track. What you gonna do?
The question I have is, how far can I really go? I got some shit to say. No, I got
shit.
No, but there's okay. I'm going to say it like this. I don't want to name any names. I'm not giving anybody any publicity.
The truth. Let's start with the truth.
Oh, I always give you the truth. Always. But there's a guy who He's an MC like me. He kind of spits like me, but he's one of those. He's really, really cocky. He calls himself the best lyricist in Texas, but he won't rap with me, so I can't give him that title.
Does he allegedly wear shamrock jewelry, and he had beef with a rapper by the name of T.I.?
No.
Allegedly. And he says he's the freestyle king. I'm from New York, though, so I don't know any of this. I'm just talking allegedly.
I'm not talking about that particular
wild guess. Am I in the
ballpark?
ballpark?
I'm not talking about Lil Flip. No. I fuck with Lil Flip. I'm not talking about Lil Flip. No.
Okay, cool.
This guy
I like beats with like video game sounds. That's just cool, man.
Game over. Yeah.
Definitely.
Game over.
No,
this
man,
over here having a ball over here.
This guy I'm talking about is also from my city. He's pretty much on the same level as me, but he's a little more known, I guess. I don't know, budget or whatever you call it, but I guess he has more of a buzz. But he calls himself the best in Texas, but I don't think you can call yourself that. You don't rap with everybody. Improve.
Shout out to Little Flip.
Shout out Lil Flip, man. All love. I love Lil Flip. I fuck with Lil Flip.
Already.
I fuck with Lil
Flip, my dude.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, good God.
That was trying to get us in some beef, man. Every time to start some shit.
I don't think I'm allowed in Texas for at least like 2 years, SP.
You trying to bring
I'm gonna need a visa to go through there and shit.
No, I mean, like that's the reason I started making mixtapes back in when I first started. I was just doing mixtapes, like jacking beats and just making songs out of them. Cause I couldn't get any beats from anybody. Nobody in the city wanted to give me beats.
But now look at you now though. You whitelisted. You got Static Selector. You got you nice. Premier. As a matter of fact, DJ Premier. We putting you out. You gotta work with East.
I would love to work with you. Yeah.
Earthquake to drop some ether. All right, let me shut up. Let SP continue her job. I'm sorry. SP, do what you do, SP.
Yeah.
Earthquake, I love you so much right now.
It's all love, man. I mean, yeah. I'm always gonna be honest about shit though. So I might say too much, but let me know if I do. But
it's too late. That point, in the movie where they say when you cross that line, you don't know that you've crossed the line until you've already crossed it. Yeah, I think we're there already. I think I'm already in there. I didn't even anticipate that shit. Now I'm in trouble.
So yeah, it was like I was just getting started. Like 2010, I was just starting to record myself because I couldn't get in nobody's studio either, so I had to record myself. See, I'm all these things are leading up to me believing that I'm blackballed. So it's like nobody wanted to give me any studio time. I couldn't get any beats from anybody. I was like, all right, fuck it.
So you do what you're supposed to do. Go outside the city. It seemed to work for quite a few people.
Oh yeah.
In all honesty, your city is normally the last place to love you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because they know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not really worried about it at this point. That's why I'm all nonchalant about it now, because I'm like, kind of because I got one of the best MCs of all time in my corner. So why do I need a local cosign at this point?
Yeah.
I don't need them to like me.
But you ain't got the best MC in your part of town. You're city, the best MC ever, whatever his name is.
I got one of the best of all time in my corner, so I don't need local cosign. I don't need y'all to like me over here. I'm cool over here.
I'm international.
I'll never forget when my friend started rapping and he was doing shows all over San Antonio, and he come off the stage and go into the crowd, and he thought he was just gonna be pulling girls. Like, dude, I remember when you picked your nose in 3rd grade. You can't.
You ain't all that, man. You ain't hot shit. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, when you know people, it's kind of hard.
You know him personally, like, man, you weren't that hard. You ain't never no gangster. You never. Yeah. So eat your boogers and shit, man. Used to eat your boogers.
Yeah. So, all right. Let me ask you this, because this always seems to be to bring up some kinds of debates.
Okay.
So what are some of the pros and cons of being a white rapper in a predominantly African American male dominated industry as a whole?
I would just say getting people to take you serious, because there's so many people who don't take it seriously who are white rappers who try to perpetuate or try to be something they're not, and it's like people see through
Mm-hmm.
that. So it makes it harder for the ones that are actually serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna name it. Well, you know one I'm talking about. SB, one of them that gets real blown up on Twitter all the time. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel you, but especially because he who shall not be named.
I wish I was in Clubhouse now and I can mute your mic, SB. Let's go.
He who shall not be named is really really does make it very hard,
It's hard to be
especially
taken
because
serious.
of the following he has.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I get it.
yeah. That's kind of where the way I look at it. But like, here's the thing: I don't even really fuck with most white rappers. It's weird, right?
It's
I think the majority of them are just corny, honestly.
well, it's not really weird because there are white rappers who are serious about um the art and are respectful of it, and then there are some who are just out to make a dime and they don't care who they step on in order to do that. So
That's
I get it, you know. But I think there's so many MCs who are white who are dope and who are really respectful of the culture and are a student of the culture, and you're one of them.
Oh yeah, I love the culture.
Uh,
I love learning more about it. I'm still learning every day. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything about it, but I'm respectful and picking up what I can.
yeah, I'm 50 and I don't know everything about it, and I grew up with it. So you can never know everything about it. You know what I mean? But you respect it, and I don't, when I'm wrong, I don't mind sitting and listening and finding out what's right, you know?
Yeah, like
So,
y'all know that J. Cole song "Middle Child." That's me.
mhm,
That's me. I feel like I'm
yeah.
like caught between two generations because I'm 31. I was born in 1990, so I'm a
Mhm.
90s baby technically. So, but I have like an old head aura about me in a way too, because I'm like, all these young whippersnappers don't know shit. How I go. You know, but so I see both sides of that token too. Like I see the new guys and I see the older people who may not like the new stuff as much. So kind of like caught in the middle of that.
And I try to kind of keep an open mind because you can have a trap beat and actually say something
Yeah,
sensible. Ti does it often. You know what I mean? He could take a trap beat and he could talk about something serious that's going on in Atlanta and in his area, and then he could still take that same trap beat and talk about his cars. But he does both. You get a
yeah,
little bit of everything from him. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think people, the bad part is just the concentration of the bullshit and not enough of the good stuff that's filtering out into the world.
That's real.
Do you feel that? Do you feel that that all ever that forever phrase white MCs are guests in hip hop?
Yeah, I actually agree with that in a way because it wasn't our culture to begin with, but we adopted it, and
Mhm.
we should all. Well, everybody should do right by the culture anyway. But I just feel
Mhm.
like it's more on us to show that we care. Like we have to prove ourselves a little bit more in that regard. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Would do you think that it's important that for white MCs to or do you think they have an obligation to speak out about concerns in the black community and their and the challenges that are happening with the people in the community?
I wouldn't say it's an obligation, but I do feel like they should, especially if they have a big enough platform. I feel like they really should, because it might hit more ears. Like when Eminem makes a song about police brutality, it's going to hit more people than it would if like somebody else did. It's a different demographic. So I feel like there is a certain responsibility to speak on stuff like that. White rappers.
Eminem took a knee at the Super Bowl, and it's still a debate.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Super Bowl was last weekend, and they still debating about that knee.
Yep, he went on BET and toured Donald Trump a new one. We all saw it. It's like
so I think it's important, and I also think it's important that occasionally when a white artist makes a song that is speaking on Black issues, it's kind of important for Black people to take into consideration that they're not writing it for us, because we kind of know the issues. So when they put it on a rock beat, it's to inform a different audience and not so much the people that it's happening to. Does that make sense to you? What I'm
it's just
saying?
like taking a new perspective one.
And he's putting it in a frequency that they can hear and will receive and understand. Because most suburban kids aren't listening to Primo, but they'll listen to an Aerosmith song that Eminem has put on as a sample, and or they'll listen to a Bette Midler song that Eminem is rapping over, and they'll understand it a little more than they would a Scarface song.
Like y'all put a Public Enemy song on, it's not gonna hit the same way. Is it?
Yeah.
I get it. It makes sense. Yeah, it's a different way of presenting it.
And it's presenting it in a way that people can receive, because there's no way I'm going to. I can listen to an Eminem song and kind of get the point and understand that it's not for me.
Yeah.
That beat is not for me. That hook is damn sure not for me. It's not for my crowd. It's not for me.
Yeah, and I mean, and at the end of the day, to me, it's not really a issue of being like a Black issue. It's like a human issue, because we're all kind of in this together. People want to divide it with race and all that shit. It's like it's deeper than that, but nobody wants to see it beyond that.
Yeah.
Because they all want to bring politics and race into it. That's when people get divided and start disagreeing on shit, and it never get anywhere.
Well, the problem is, I think the major problem is that we've never actually handled the race issue to begin with.
It's true.
So we don't have honest conversations. It's not taught honestly. There are about 27 Black towns that are under public lakes, because it's easy to drown out a thriving community than to actually let them thrive. And see, until that kind of history is known and dealt with, it's kind of hard to move forward when that kind of stuff festers, and those are passed down traumas. These are a lot of times people think that because they found out they're the first, everybody found out at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But these are things that our communities dealt with a long time, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. So where most people are not knowledgeable of it, we've known, and now everybody is kind of getting a glimpse into the lies that we already knew existed. And until people are honest and start dealing with that kind of thing, it's not something you can sweep under the rug. It's not, it happened 400 years ago. It that doesn't matter because the repercussions of it is still happening today.
It hasn't been fully resolved ever.
Yes,
So it's still going to linger because it hasn't been resolved. Yeah,
exactly.
totally. Yeah.
So on a lighter note,
I made a song about that one time too.
oh
Like
yeah,
kind of touching on like social issues, so to speak,
mhm.
on my last album. It's called song called Cold World. But yeah.
Yeah, I have to check that one out.
Who has another there's
Um,
another dope MC on that song too, called named Alyssa Marie. She's really dope too. But yeah.
oh, cool. I'm definitely gonna check out because I'm always sticking my nose trying to find new artists.
Because Crooked said a long time ago, white rappers shouldn't stay quiet when talking about these issues. He was talking about the Mike Brown thing when that happened.
Mhm.
He mentioned that white rappers shouldn't stay quiet about these issues because it's like you have a voice too, you know.
Yeah, and it's important. The reason it's important is because whether people will admit it or not, you have a certain amount of privilege. And you, as a white male, have a massive amount of privilege. And it doesn't mean that you don't have problems. And it doesn't mean that your life is a golden goose and diamonds are falling from the sky and you are swimming in a fountain made of gold.
Yeah,
It just simply means that if you fail in life, it's not because you're white.
that's not the reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
If
I totally get that.
anything
Yeah,
bad happens, it's probably not because you're white.
yeah, that's true.
Because even in hip hop, if you're not, even if not one black person ever buys your music, you could still succeed to a level that most black artists will never reach.
That's true. Yeah, very true.
So,
Yeah, those points are well put.
Yeah, I'm just letting her get it off. That's why I'm being quiet.
so I think that's where
Agree.
people get you know get their dander up because they were like, well, my life isn't perfect. Well, nobody's life is perfect, but being white is not a reason why it's not perfect. And you might have made a bad decision or a bad banking error, or you didn't finish school, or
Yeah,
you were abused, something like that, but it's not because you're white.
yeah.
For a lot of black people, it's specifically because they're black.
Only because of that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel you.
um so if you weren't an MC, what would you be doing right now?
I have no idea, honestly. Like I said, rap is the only thing I really know how to do. Like, kind of, like I don't know. Like, I can go get another job. I can get jobs easy, but it's like I don't want to do it the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't really see myself making a career out of anything else but music because music is what I've always loved anyway. So it's like,
Any
Yeah.
personal hobbies or anything else you think that you would kind of get into more
uh,
or
probably
invest?
video games, but I don't know what I can do as far as a career with that. But hobbies, video games. I do like learning about the like machinery, like working on cars and shit.
Oh yeah.
So that's something I like to fiddle with in my, off
That's
time.
like currency. Currency is a car aficionado, that dude.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah,
I don't know if he likes rapping more of that. Well, he said he like weed and he like cars, and he said
weed
I
and cars.
figured
Yeah,
if I could rap, I mean, if I could rap good enough, I could be able to get into cars and weed. And he
yeah,
said that was
that's
my
what I like
way.
too. I feel like if you have enough success in music doing what you love, that opens the door for other things because you'll have the finances to do other things.
Yeah, don't make me drive my hoopty to Waco so you can fix the air conditioner.
I give it a look. This is a long drive though. Might not make it. No.
It'll make it. It'll make it. It's a Toyota. It'll run if everything else in the car break down. The seats can break before the motor will.
Well, that's good. Yep, Toyotas are good.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Damn, somebody just asked me this question too. And I didn't have an answer to either. But let me see. I don't know. I mean, I just want to keep progressing and get to the point where I can just not have to work as hard. I mean, you're always gonna have to work hard, but as far as put myself in a better position, that's where I
So
feel like I be myself.
the next time you get asked that question, I want you to have a definitive answer.
Okay.
I want you to think about this and put it in the universe and make it a goal. Because make it your long-term goal. I don't care if you want to make sure that you have 5,000 dedicated followers of your music that's going to buy your music. That's a dedicated goal that you can achieve in 5 years, and you can break it down year by year to each goal. But you have to have a goal. You can't just be I want to be better than I am now. You need a specific
Yeah,
goal
you're
because
right.
if you can see it, you can achieve it, right?
Yeah,
And right now you just have it as a blur.
true. It's not a clear picture yet. Yeah.
Clarity. Look at SP talking about clarity. SP. Clarity, huh?
Dropping gems on me today. I see. Okay.
Boom.
Well, these are lessons I'm learning along the way too,
Yeah.
to
Yeah, I know.
actually set a goal in order to achieve it. Because if not, you'll just be spinning your wheels,
Yeah.
doing the same thing. Yeah, I have crook on the verse, but what I want is
That's
Royce
what
on this verse. So
get
now
it.
you got to figure out how to get Royce on that verse, and then you give yourself a set amount of time and come up with some reachable goals.
Yeah. That's real. Actually, I needed that.
Because
But yeah.
I've always liked you. I've always liked you. So I want the best for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
She don't
And
say
I'm
that.
really,
She don't say that to every guest. So wow, this is a lot.
so I don't say it to every guest. That makes it even better, you know. But really, I'm kind of learning more about myself too now. Like I'm getting more comfortable with myself because for years I grew up with a lot of self-esteem issues and shit like that. But over the last couple of years, I'm starting to get more comfortable in my own skin and starting to learn myself more. So I'm getting there, getting there.
Can I drop a little jewel? SP, we were watching that self-sabotage video, right? Webinar.
Mhm.
In there, she said something that blew my mind, and it goes with this right here. What we're talking about. The word was consistency, right? And she said that consistency basically is constant spaced repetition, constant spaced repetition of doing something. That's your consistency. So when SP's talking about putting the measurable goals in little increments and little pieces, that will then equal a major goal over 5 years. And it'll put you in a whole different sphere, not just working harder for harder's sake, but working harder and smarter to put yourself in a different position and have a different paradigm and a different view because you'll be in a different place and space. You know what I mean? So constant space repetition, that's your consistency. It's measurable.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. I needed to hear this, so I appreciate that. It's always good to have outside perspectives.
And you can reach out anytime. I'm always available,
I'm really
especially
bad at
for
that
a
part.
conversation.
I'm really bad about reaching out.
I am too.
I always feel like I'm bothering people.
Well, you
Like,
reached out to me, Earthquake, and look at what happened. You reached out
exactly.
to me.
Made the interview happen. Exactly.
I'm horrible at it too, but I'm learning. I am actually making a conscientious effort to actually ask for help, and I am shitty about asking for help.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
you
me too.
asked yesterday very well. I appreciate it. Thank you. All caps, but no caps.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm bothering people, so I don't like to hit them up. So I'm like, I don't feel like
Exactly.
that's always how I feel. So I'm getting better at that too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, worst that can happen is they say no. It's the worst thing that can happen. They just say they're busy or whatever.
Yeah, I'm the
World.
same way. And I see it. You know, the bad part is we see it, but it's still so hard.
Yeah, like I see what I see is not going to be that big a deal if I just ask somebody for help. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to bother people. They got their own
Mm-hmm.
shit. So, you know.
And we're trained to think that, but 9 times out of 10, they don't have shit that they doing. But we think because we're overwhelmed that everybody's overwhelmed, and 9 times out of 10, that's not the case.
Yeah, true. It's all a mental thing. You got to get out of your own head sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm learning this too.
yeah.
I'm really bad about overthinking shit. So I got to get better at that too. I'm really bad about that.
Good book to read. I don't know if y'all read it or listened to the audiobook. It's called Unfuck Yourself. Amazing book. Unfuck Yourself.
Heard about it.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Talking yourself out of stuff and thinking wrong thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that book. There's another
So,
one, another audio book I found called Think Again, kind of along those same lines, like helping yourself not think so much about shit. Like just
Yes,
regroup.
that's the one. Yeah. The one I'm
Yeah.
talking about, when the audiobook, the man has an Irish accent. No disrespect to my people in Ireland, but I love when he curses and stuff. It's the dopest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm blasting it in my car. People are like, what is this dude listening to?
What is he listening to?
Man
What is he?
cussing? But I'm like, they don't understand the jewels, man. So I'm eating right now. So I'm like, mush talk. All right. Sorry, SB.
you fine. So let me ask you, this is all new, but when it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for? Not just as an artist, but as a man.
As a person.
Yeah, just being consistent and persistent. That's what I say. Knowing that I never gave up on what I wanted, no matter how long it took me to get it. I don't know how many people told me I couldn't rap when I was a teenager, and I told everybody I wasn't going to be a rapper. Everybody and their mama told me you can't do it. Whatever. Look at me now. Never stop.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
probably what the main thing.
That's important.
And being, I guess the whole underdog thing is like my whole thing now. I guess I'm kind of rebranding myself as the underdog. It's kind of why I titled the EP that, because no matter what, you just got to keep fighting, keep going.
As he rocks the BMX shirt.
I got dealt, yeah. I got dealt a shitty hand in life. I felt like, but that never stopped me from doing what I was doing. So
Exactly.
that's why that's what I want to be remembered for, if anything. That's not giving up.
I think a lot of times we see it, people who have not had a great time of it.
Mm-hmm.
We see it in each other, and we kind of gravitate towards each other. It's kind of it's the reason I love Eminem so much is because I kind of healed along with him.
Yeah.
When you go through certain stuff, you see it in the next person, even
Yeah.
if they don't talk about it.
That's true. Yeah, very true.
Who are the 3 most important and influential people in your life that have had the greatest impact in your life to date?
Just in personal life or just in general?
Either personal or professionally.
Well, the first one would be my Uncle James, who passed away 2 years ago. He was my father figure. He raised me my entire life. My father wasn't around, but I had my uncle, who was the next best thing. So he was probably the main person because he's the reason I am who I am today. And so he's so that would be number one probably. And Crooked, obviously, because not just on a music level, just personally. He's helped me kind of come out of my shell a lot, helped me kind of get more comfortable with what I'm doing, because he told me I had skills. And it's like, that means a lot to somebody when you're trying to impress somebody, you know. So you're trying to coexist. It means a lot when someone who's already up there kind of tells you you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably up there too in that regard, just personal level. Just help my self-esteem a lot, everything like that. And I don't know about third person, honestly. Kind of drawing a blank on that one, but
miscellaneous. It could even be somebody. It could even be somebody you don't even know. That's how we kind of. That's how a lot of people. Not saying they cheap, but that's how a lot of people reach for it. They reach for somebody like, I don't even know that person.
But they don't really know. Yeah, I mean, in that regard, you can go with artists too, like just people you listen to growing up. Like look at like Tupac, DMX, Eminem, like people like that. Always kind of meant a lot to me because I kind of felt what they were talking about. Like Eminem inspired me to let me know that I could rap, and he also like his life story is like mine. It's weird. There's a lot of parallels in the stories. So he's one of those guys too.
And he showed a lot of people that it's possible. He broke a lot of doors. Broke down a lot of doors. Right.
He showed me it was possible to be that good at rapping, even though you're white. It's okay. You can still do it just as good as anybody else.
He taught me it was okay to be mad. It's okay to get angry.
It's okay. It's okay to be angry and let it out.
Being Southern, we tend to bottle all of that up.
Yeah, I know I do.
And it often festers in us and comes out at inappropriate times.
And being women too.
Yeah.
Culturally, women are kind of like, right, grin and bear it, smile, and
because they expect women to just, like you said, grin and bear it and just smile. Women aren't allowed to express themselves enough. That's real.
Yeah. And he showed me it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to say it out loud, and you don't have to feel bad about being mad.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or hurt. Or even hurt. Like he would express, like, I'm hurt. For real.
Yeah.
This shit hurt me. Yeah, I'm just let it out.
And even that, I would say, even for like, maybe I'm out of line saying this, but I would say even for white men saying that I'm hurt or I'm vulnerable, that's not something that I've heard a lot, you know what I mean, in general. So I think
it doesn't even have to be white men, just men in general, to hear somebody
supposed to be emotional, you know.
Yeah, to hear somebody say, yeah, I know she fucked over me, and I know she slept with the security guard, and she may not be the best looking bitch in the world, but I love this motherfucker.
I love this. Yeah.
I know this shit is dysfunctional.
And I want to kill her.
I want to kill her every day, but damn it, I love her.
Yeah, I wanted to put it in the trunk of my car, but I can't help but still. And I don't think people realize that and he showed it. It wasn't just I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. But
album cover and video.
He adopted her sister's kid.
Yeah.
And then turned around and adopted her kid with the dude she cheated on him with.
That's a flex.
That's a different kind of love.
It is. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, even though I'm not with you, I'm still going to make sure that any child that came from you is going to be taken care of.
Yeah, that's real. That's real love right there.
That show you got heart. Big heart.
Yeah. And men are always looked at as we're not supposed to cry, we're not supposed to be emotional, we're supposed to be stone faced all the time and just kind of deal with everything that life throws at us. And it's like sometimes you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's okay to get vulnerable sometimes. It's okay to be emotional.
And women have to learn that they have to make that space safe for
Yeah.
men to do that. You know, he can't be emotional and you like pussy. You know,
Yeah, can't call him a bitch if he gets emotional. Like what? Yeah.
yeah. That was one of the things I loved about my husband. He wasn't. He would cry if he needed to cry. He would cry, and I'd give him the space to do it. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, if you can't cry at home, where can you cry?
Yeah. Home is supposed to be your safe space. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
your. Yeah.
If you so frustrated and got to a point where it's going to bring tears, then yeah, this needs to be the place that you can be
Be free.
you.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay on code in here.
Bottle it all up and hold it in and just let it
Yeah.
out. Yeah. That's real.
Are there any shout outs, projects or products you want to promote right now?
Shout out to Powerful Impact. Have me on the show. You know what I'm saying? And
Anytime.
shout out to Shoe Gang, Crooked, everybody is down with me. And I realized a lot of stuff too. You never really know who's watching.
Yeah.
You never really know who out there actually knows who you are. Because I had like Chuck D follow me on Twitter one day, and I was like, "What? How the hell does Chuck D know who I am?" But it's cool.
Me too. I was shocked when he did that. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
You had to have said something poignant.
had
Chuck
to. I
D
don't
only
remember what it is.
follows you if you say something poignant.
I thought it was one of those things like, you know, you follow somebody, they follow you back. Like I didn't think that much of it, but I was like, in the back of my mind, I was just like, does he know who I am? Like, does he?
You have to say something. You have to have said something that mattered.
Yeah, that's true.
And if it mattered to him, he will follow you and he will answer you if you reply to him.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's just
Really
like,
dope. He's a dope guy.
yeah,
So will
that's
Ice-T.
Ice-T,
Ice-T
yeah,
is really good about responding to people.
yeah, Ice-T does too. Yeah, that's real. That was
He's
off
just
topic.
a real dude. He's just a real dude, though.
Yeah.
Ice-T's a real, look at the cloth that he's come from. Like,
Oh, yeah, Ice-T is one of the real ones. Yeah,
Yeah, we
he
could
was
just
the
end it
original
on
gangster.
that.
He was the OG. Like, he was the original gangster. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
cut from that cloth.
He said that I rapped for fun. Like I didn't want to rap about nothing we was doing. My crew had to tell me, that ain't you. You gotta rap about what we doing out here. And he's like, ain't that
I don't
gonna
want to
get
do
us
that.
in trouble? I
You're
don't
gonna get
want
us
to
in
do
trouble.
that.
We're
He's
doing that.
like, yeah, but we're not gonna snitch on ourselves, but you need to kind of, tell what we're doing. And he did it, and it worked. And he didn't dry snitch, but he did it.
Yeah,
That's
it made it work.
the illest thing, man. Anyway, that's going off another topic. Let's leave that like that. Boom.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Earthquake, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I think um a lot of people are going to be able to take a lot from this interview.
I hope so. Because honestly, I don't feel like my life is that interesting, but I'm glad people want to know about me. It brings a lot.
Before we close out, I just want to know what did just looking at where you're at now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't be afraid to be who you really are. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Because for years I dealt with trying to be a people pleaser and just trying to it just wasn't working. And I didn't realize that it wasn't working until take a step back and see. But that's what I would say. If I could go back 10 years ago and tell my younger self, that's what I would tell myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be afraid to let it go and just be who you really are. Don't be ashamed. Because people are going to think what they think about you regardless. So just do what you want to do.
And you don't always have to be liked.
Yeah, that was one of my big things when I was growing up. I wanted to be liked by everybody, and it never worked. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be everybody's friend in school. I wanted to be liked by everybody, and it just never worked out. And I didn't realize that it wasn't working until later. Right?
And
They don't really.
it's
Yeah,
hard to really do you at like a high level and be liked by everybody, because naturally you're going to attract hate, or naturally you're gonna like rub people the wrong way when you try to do you to the 10th power. Not everybody's gonna be cool with that. It's just human nature.
that's true.
Person, it's just
Like,
human nature.
Yeah, it was the complete opposite for me. I didn't like nobody, and I didn't want nobody to like me. I only had one friend from elementary school. I'm at a house now, sitting outside in my car doing this.
Ain't a damn thing changed.
That's how long we've been. That's how long we've been friends. She's been my my ride or die since 3rd grade.
That's consistency right there.
And yeah, like I know the pandemic kind of made everybody kind of sit back and learn about, look at themselves, and kind of people might have realized things about themselves. One thing I noticed is I had the same circle of friends, very small circle, but the same circle of friends since like 5th grade. And the thing I noticed is they like me for who I really am, not because of what I try to be. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I learn about myself as I go. It's just like,
oh yeah,
now I know, just be yourself, and everything else kind of works itself out.
there you go.
I have a closing question, similar to what she asked. This is my closing question to you. What advice would you give to an artist or somebody who wants to get to where you are in your career, or in anything that they're pursuing? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would just say either go hard or go home. Like put your all into it, or don't pursue it. Like you have to really care about it. Whatever it is you're doing, you have to really show that you care about what you're doing. If you don't care about it, it's not really going to come together for you the way you want it to.
In the words of the great Big Daddy Kane, ain't no half stepping. Period.
Word, no half stepping. You got to go all in or not at all.
That's a whole word this evening.
Ain't no half stepping. Exactly. That's real. Like that's what I would say.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
This has been a wonderful conversation. I've enjoyed it a lot.
We can keep going, bro. If we really wanted to, we could keep going all night. We can talk about whatever. You start talking about these backlash rappers now.
You worse than me. Never be telling me, can I go to bed now?
Yeah, that part. We are getting old, so we gotta
be like, can I eat now? Can I go to bed? I gotta ask permission and shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Can I go to bed now? Can I eat? Can I drink water now? Jeez.
Can I go take a piss real quick? You know, something.
And he's like, just one more thing. I got just one more thing. Let's do this now. I'm like, no, we do not have to do that now. It can wait.
You said one more thing. What are we doing now?
Yeah, one more thing becomes 10 more things. 10 minutes becomes an hour. And I'm like, no. Boundaries, respectfully.
You gotta know boundaries.
Jeez.
You gotta know your limits.
Personal, no beef, just boundaries. Time to end the call. Bye.
You gotta know your limits. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no boundaries. None.
Yeah, no boundaries.
With poor sleeping patterns. That makes it even like you're like, okay, all right, I don't want a sleep disorder now. Relax. I didn't have one before the pandemic. I don't need to develop one now. Okay.
Disrupting the sleep patterns is a different story. Different
story.
I don't sleep.
Black men need to sleep. I gotta repair my cells.
I don't sleep much either, but I need to do more of that. But yeah.
Yeah, but no, powerful.
Yeah, I can't.
We promote sleep by Powaful Impak.
If I sleep more than 6 hours, I have a headache when I get up. I just feel bad.
Yeah.
Do not take the medical advice of SP.
6 hours max is the best I can do, because I'll drag the rest of the day.
If you get too much sleep, you start dragging the rest of the day?
I start dragging. It's just like awful.
know you don't get 6 hours of sleep. So
No, 'cause
You're like 4.
I get up at 4. I get up at 4 between 4 and 4:30 every morning. I don't care if I went to bed at 3. I'm getting up at 4 between 4 and 4:30
That's rough. That's rough right there.
because I that is what I'm trained to do. 4:30, you get up, you get dressed, you go get the eggs, you
The whole
go get
routine.
the eggs, you bring them in the house, you get ready for school, you eat breakfast, you make sure everything got water, all the animals are watered and fed before you leave, and then when you come home, you do the same thing again, and then 4:30 it starts again.
Same old routine every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm used to getting up at 4:30.
No matter what time you go to sleep.
No matter what time I go to sleep, I'm gonna get up at 4:30.
Damn.
I don't need an alarm, nothing. I'm getting up at 4:30.
If I got to be up at 4 o'clock and I go to bed at 3, I ain't getting up at 4 o'clock. Just saying. Catch me at like 8. I might be all right.
Yeah,
8
8
o'clock.
o'clock. I'm like, I remember I went to bed early one day, and I woke up at 8 o'clock in a panic. I got dressed. I threw my purse in the car. I drove all the way to work, and it was 8:30 at night.
Oh, damn. I ain't even got to be at work right
It was I had to be at work. I had to be at work at 8 in the morning, but it was 8. I didn't know what time. I was just thrown off. I
Damn.
got up and drove all the way in to work.
That's funny.
All right. I want to thank everybody for watching Powerful Impact. You got some of the backstory. You got a wonderful conversation with Earthquake, some dope conversation, and go and check out his album. I'm going to put all of his links in the description below. Like, follow, and subscribe. Leave us a comment. We're here. We for the people. And now,
I'd like to say I had a problem finding the mute button. I'd like to say any beeps or anything that looks crazy in the edit is because SP went a little off the rails. If there was any
It's okay to
sound
say that.
problems, blame that on technology. Any parts that you loved of this, give the all glory to the Almighty. And we making a powerful impact. You go out there and make a powerful impact. Boom. Shout out to Earthquake, COB, and Crooked, and everybody else. That's it. I'm out. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I gotta use the bathroom. Peace.
way too much information there. All right, we out here. Powerful Impact. Peace.
Later, y'all. Peace.
Boom. Peace.